Welcome to my very first episode of the Amid the Mess podcast. This really short episode is just going to be me introducing myself and introducing the podcast, why I'm doing it and what kind of things we're going to talk about. Now, first things first, this is my very first episode all by myself. So in the past, so I'm a bit out of breath even. Breathe, yo-yo, breathe. In the past, I have recorded plenty of episodes for different podcasts with other guests, but I've never done a one-off by myself talking to the camera. So just wanted to get that out there. Bear with me. I will do my best. So let's get started. I wanted to start with saying, who am I? If you're my friend, then you know me, but hopefully quite a few more people than just my friends might listen to this. Who am I? What are my interests? What is my background? So, my interests, who am I? I'm Jolanthe. I am a mum of two lovely children. I am not fanatic, but I'm very keen on health and fitness and well-being. I am a yoga teacher. I love yoga, obviously. I love running. I love the sunshine, so I am a huge lizard. Whenever the sun comes out, I just have to get into it. And it's a little bit of a running joke with me and my husband, because as soon as spring comes, the sun comes out, and then I just go out, I strip off, not fully, of course, and I'm like, I must have the sun on my skin, and then I get ill because actually it's still too cold. But anyway, other things I love just feeling healthy and feeling good. And as you might guess from me being a yoga teacher, and I also teach other types of fitness, I love helping other people to feel good. That is something that just gets me going. Seeing other people's sweaty faces after a class, be it a sweaty yoga vinyasa class or maybe a Zumba class, that is just, it makes my heart sing, because I know I love feeling that way. So I think other people hopefully love feeling that way. And of course they do. They tell me that they love it. So those are a few starting things to get an idea about who I am. My background. So I studied sport and exercise science a little while ago. Then I went on to doing a master's and even a PhD in exercise science related to aging. So needless to say, I am a huge nerd at heart. I love the scientific process. I love reading scientific papers, and I love science in general and the things that as a society we're learning. But I couldn't stay in academia. So on the side, I was always teaching exercise classes as well. And that's really where my passion lies, in the applied fitness and health stuff. I want to see people benefiting from it. So while I love the fact that other scientists are carrying on doing the research, writing papers, that just wasn't my calling. So I went on to try something else. I found yoga and did a yoga teacher training, and that was the thing I absolutely loved. I love teaching people that mind-body awareness, and as well as quite a physical class. So, rewind a little bit. So I found yoga during my PhD studies because I was massively burned out. I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, but when you do so much brain work that your brain and body don't really feel connected anymore, and that's what I felt like I was a massive head walking on this tiny little body that I wasn't really connected to. And so I found yoga, and it just helped reconnect those two bits, and I fell in love with it. But that's enough about yoga for now. Let me go on to why I started this podcast and what it's going to be about. So I am a huge fan of other podcasts. I listen to them all the time when I'm doing the washing up, when I am settling our baby. So we currently have a little 5-month-old baby. When she's going to sleep, I'm listening to a podcast. And mostly they're about health and self-improvement and happiness and mindset. But what I found is that they're often quite unachievable. You get someone on there that says, yes, I do 2 hours of meditation in the morning, or, I only eat unprocessed foods and I never have anything in a packet. Or, you pick your example, things that either require a huge amount of time or just seem a little bit unachievable, and aim for perfection a little bit too much. And that is the point of this podcast. I want to talk about health and well-being and self-improvement behaviors, but how can we fit those into a messy, chaotic life? Because currently I find my life is a little messy and chaotic, especially now having children. The only way I can do any kind of fitness or anything productive for myself is just doing it in the mess and the chaos. Turning a blind eye, just thinking, it's fine that the floor is super dirty. I'm going to roll out my mat and do 20 minutes of yoga or something else. So hence the name of this podcast, Amid the Mess. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. So if you feel like your life is messy and chaotic and that you don't have the time or the mind space to do all those amazing health and well-being, self-improvement things that lots of other people are talking about, stay with me, because I'm going to try and talk about these things in the context of the craziness and how we can do it amid the craziness and the mess. So, what else? Just looking at my notes. Yeah, I think I already got the point across that I am a huge nerd. So, but even though I didn't stay in academia, I love the nerdiness and I love research and going on Google Scholar and reading the papers. So I am really excited about getting other scientists onto this podcast as guests, and they can tell us all about their specialisms, extra bits about the current research regarding health and mental health and other things. So get ready for some nerdiness as well. What is this podcast going to be about? I think I actually already covered that just now. But just to say that again, it's going to be all types of health, happiness, self-improvement topics. So it'll be a bit of exercise, a little bit of diet, a little bit of mindfulness, sleep, relationships, business, maybe for the self-employed people out there. Lots of things. I'm not going to narrow the focus. It's going to be varied and hopefully quite entertaining for you. That's the aim of the game, obviously. And well, your requests are also very, very welcome. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can do so on my Instagram account. All the details would be in the show notes. Or email me. That's fine too. And if you have specific requests, I will get those guests on. So let's go on to my next section, my connection with yoga. Now, I just want to say up front, this is not a podcast about yoga. Although I'm going to bring it up a lot because that's the background I come from. That's my passion. That's what I do. That's what I think about a lot. But this podcast is not going to be about yoga. We'll have experts of all different types of topics. But I'm going to bring my yoga element to this. So I often talk about the nervous system and how calming our nervous system can be beneficial for all sorts of things. And you'll hear me relate concepts of yoga to what the other experts are talking about. So that's going to happen. What else? A little bit about me. So I currently have an online yoga app that I'm constantly evolving. In the future, you might hear me talk a little bit about that as well. But that's enough for now about that. And at the end of every interview with the experts, I'm going to ask them a few fun questions as well. One of them is going to be their pet peeves in the world of knowledge that they operate, and also whether they have a personal guilty pleasure. So I thought I would tell you a few of mine as well, so you can get to know me a little bit on a more personal level. Pet peeves. Let's start there. I'm just shifting my notes. There we go. So a pet peeve that you'll hear me talk about a lot, and I'm sure lots of other experts will mention this, is the whole societal focus on thinness, super thinness, calorie counting, calorie cutting, just doing like all the cardio and not eating enough. All that stuff it's old school. Thankfully, it's not that popular anymore, but it does kind of happen still. That's a big pet peeve of mine, because when I was a teenager, I had almost, I would say, had a bit of anorexia. It was never diagnosed, but I was much too thin, and I remember consciously limiting what I ate. Together with a friend, actually. We had a little very unhealthy buddy system thing going on. So thankfully, I feel I've recovered from that. But you never fully forget. So it's always something on my mind. And whenever I feel things are promoting this kind of behavior, it just gets to me. I think, oh, that's not healthy. What we want to be doing is eating plenty of nourishing things and building muscle mass and loving our bodies. And so one of my big pet peeves. If I hope you agree with me, and then you'll get plenty of validation of that throughout this, throughout all the episodes of that. Another pet peeve is pictures of women with tiny dumbbells. So I just want to say, this podcast is not only for women, but I think strength training is really important, and we'll get so many guests on that will have the same opinion. And women are so much stronger than they think, and they don't need to lift little 1-2 kilogram dumbbells. So that rubs me up the wrong way, because actually, if you're going to be lifting some weights, you can lift your child who's like 20 kilograms or more if they're older. So you can definitely lift more than a 2 kilogram little pink dumbbell. So that's a little bit of my feministic side coming out. What else? Okay, another pet peeve of mine that is a bit yoga related is seeing pictures on social media of super duper flexible, impossible poses of like someone doing a ridiculous splits or something that the mere mortals of us just would not imagine ever achieving, even if actually we could with lots of practice. But something that looks unachievable gives yoga such a bad reputation, because really it's not about achieving that. It's about so much more. So that just stops people even trying, because they think, oh, I will never be able to do that. So what is the point? So, hey, another pet peeve. I could go on, but I'll just leave it there. Maybe in future episodes, I'll keep dropping a few extra peeves of mine as the guests tell us theirs as well. So, on to another question I've written for myself. What is my guilty pleasure or a few funny things about me? So, it's a bit cliche, really, but I love chocolate. I just love chocolate. I try to eat very dark stuff, dark chocolate, and we give our 3.5-year-old plenty of that dark chocolate as well. with the hope that he will develop the taste only for super dark chocolate and then not be so tempted by the other dairy milk stuff. But this plan is completely failing, so don't copy me. Another of my guilty pleasures currently is protein bars. Like I mentioned before, we have a 5-month-old baby, so I'm at home quite a lot, doing quite a lot of sitting, watching daytime television, breastfeeding, and I want a snack. So one of my guilty pleasures currently is protein bars, because I don't know, they just feel like they're a tasty snack, and they just feel a little bit less guilty because there's lots of protein in there. Isn't that good? Anyway, and so I did mention just now, I do watch a bit of daytime television, of course, sitting at home with a baby. So another guilty pleasure currently is Love Island. So hands up for the Love Island fans out there. So this might be the point at which you switch off this podcast because you think, oh my goodness, I can't believe she watches that. Please don't switch off. I just love, and I love people and relationships and how people communicate with each other. And I love a bit of escapism. So, and the sun. I love the sun. So, watching Love Island sometimes is just such a nice way of escaping, seeing how people communicate, seeing how they could do it differently, learning, a bit of armchair justice. I love it. So those are some guilty pleasures. Please don't judge me. Or, go ahead, judge me. That's fine. And now a few funny things about me, so you know the background a little more as well. I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. I absolutely love it. So is my husband. So together we are a nerdy team of Lord of the Rings lovers. And we have watched the films a million times and listened to the audiobooks a million times before going to sleep. I find little Lord of the Rings memes on Instagram all the time and send them to all my friends. So that's a little thing about me. You see the nerdy side of me. And another funny thing I wanted to mention is I also love reels about really funny parenting stuff. You might have seen them. You know when there's like a funny reel with it, like music behind, and it's about like something really difficult about bedtime or nap time or the crap all over the floor or how small children eat and the food goes everywhere. But all the little tiny things about life that are just so annoying. I just love watching the reels, and Instagram knows this, and it's very much in my algorithm, and I'm seeing them all the time. Okay, I'll keep it there. Those were just a few funny things about me so that you get to know me. And that was the end of my list of questions. So I'm going to keep this episode nice and short and sweet. If you have any more questions for me, feel free to get in touch. But I am so excited to start this journey of a podcast, to get lots of really interesting guests, to get scientific guests, to get people who are practicing therapists or coaches or you name it, up to talk about their stuff, and I'm going to grill them on how does the mere mortal who has a messy, chaotic, madness life, how do we fit it in? We don't have 2 hours in the morning to spend on me time and journal and do this and do that. That is just difficult for people with a busy, chaotic, messy life. So I hope that you will enjoy the episodes to come. Before I say goodbye, I would also love to request that an amazing free way in which you can support my show is by just going to the rate and review buttons on whichever app you're listening to this and just put a little rating and a little review. It doesn't matter what you write. Well, it does. Write something that is true, whether it's a positive review or a negative one. Please be kind. Just write whatever you want. It just really helps, especially for a new podcast. It helps me go on the radar so that people can find me when they search for podcasts. So I thank you. That would be amazing. And without further ado, I will say goodbye, and I look forward to bringing you new episodes every week, and I hope you'll enjoy them. So I'll see you next week. Bye.